This Yoga Nidra practice is intended to offer you some relief and possible dissolution of the grip of addiction and at the root of what is a wound or a void. Each time you practice with this guided meditation, what comes up may change, and that's very common and very normal. The way that the subconscious stores its memories is through symbols and archetypes that often surface in sensation and feeling. And many times we'll get this sensation and feeling and really not understand where it's coming from. And I hope that this Yoga Nidra allows you to access the memory or to be able to restore the wiring to what you remember as your wholeness. Inside of this practice, we'll be working with the 3 samskaras, and those look like a disruption on the mental, emotional, physical, body layers, as I would even say scale of like 1 to 3, 1 being the least disruptive, 3 being the most disruptive. You'll have the opportunity to visit what could be possibly potentially at the root of this, at the root of what you may be struggling or suffering for. And before you begin your practice, it's a good idea to start just by saying thank you to yourself for showing up. And if you're someone who's not used to receiving any praise or receiving at all in general, you need it the most. And just the same way you would acknowledge someone's effort for you, it'd be really great, something new to try, if you could acknowledge your effort here first. And if there is difficulty around that, or it's harder than you thought, I welcome you to sit with it here and already be in the seat of observer. Your loud mind may be speaking, but we aren't consciously listening. That's just the subconscious, that sort of recorder that is in the background taking in all the information that's still responding, although you may not be consciously aware of what's being said. And if it's impossible for you to say thank you to yourself for showing up, I would just ask yourself why. And what is the resistance to this? And begin to acknowledge any judgments that you have around it. You don't even have to change anything, just witnessing. If you are changing something, you're still in your analytical mind. And we're slowly starting to shift into a steadier, deeper, and more relaxed body. And if you haven't already began to prepare what we know as corpse pose or savasana, begin to create your sacred space. Gather your things. Ruffle the blanket and lay it out so it's not tugging or pulling your toes. Align the crown of your head with the tail of your spine. take note of how your hand position is holding your shoulders, and see if palms facing up is available. Sometimes it's not. Or palms facing down to ground into the earth. Ideally, we want to be as far away from the body so as not to touch and become distracted as possible. But also know that if you are sitting there in pain or discomfort from trying to hold a posture that I've cued without knowing or seeing your body, that this is another form of suffering. So change your shape to what you can relax in and what you can become heavy in. The sacrum bone in the back of the pelvis tends to become a bit heavy halfway through the practice. So if you have a blanket that is wrapped around you, it can be really nice and really sweet to tuck the soft ends of the blanket just underneath the bony bottom of the spine, top of the glutes, and supporting the back of your head with a small soft pillow, one that allows the neck to be long but the head to be supported, the chin to gently humble towards the throat. With the lengthened back of your neck, take in a full breath. Fill your body from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. And then with an audible sigh, let yourself release that breath from your body. The beauty of the practice of Yoga Nidra is that when the body is soft and tension is completely gone from the muscles, our ability to observe ourselves from a place of presence is so heightened, creating space for potential healing of traumas that are causing us to be reactive in our beta state, our waking state. It is like a portal into the unknown of who you are, but is the whole and total reason why you are the way you are. And this mind was developed very early in life, before we had the ability to discern, before we had the ability to see. All the way up into about 8 to 12 years old, we are in a hypnotic state of theta. And my son has called it this before, but he will say when he looks at baby pictures of himself, I wasn't conscious yet. And it is so true. He was not conscious yet, although he appeared to be conscious. He was like a little recorder walking around making sense of the world. And that is who we all are without looking in, without going deeper. We are just 9 to 12-year-olds operating in adult bodies, which is another reason why we can be so reactive and not understand why, because we don't have the memory of the storage of the experience when it happened. And if you have a space that you've created that is safe enough, by closing your eyes, you're disengaging the sense of sight, which allows you to drop in a little deeper to your inner sensory body. And when the external senses are no longer reaching out and distracted, and the inner sensory body can awaken, this is when we can discover who we truly are. We are undistracted from that of which exists outside of us, externalized to us, and are able to see inward the source of what is magnetized to us, the source of our choices, our actions, and our doings. And inside this practice, I will use the visual of a tree. And this is something that I've heard time and again from students, is that if I can't visualize, is it still working? And not all of us see in the traditional way when we visualize. You may be receiving sensory information in the form of feeling or some other way that I haven't experienced. So just be open to exploring what visualization may be. And if you still are at an impasse, I would ask myself, if I feel stuck and like I'm forcing it, first to soften, because you're back in beta brain state trying to make sense of something that is nonsensical. And then I would ask you to say, if I could see what this was, what would I see? Or if I could visualize this, what would it be? And often that allows our brain to do the work for us, where typically we feel responsible for everything that comes once we're paying attention to the mind. The mind has its own method. And asking questions is an incredible way to make it down into your heart and into the cells of your body memory. Yoga Nidra is a relaxation technique that is known for creating deep rest in a very short period of time. And it is because the body is so soft after it's guided through the rotation of consciousness that allows this deep rest to happen. And I'll take you there now. Call in your memory of your right hand. And it first may come as a visualization of what you believe your hand to look like. And then feel into the physical hand if it's present. So as we move through the body, you'll first recall your memory of seeing it, and then become the memory of being it. Right hand. Left hand. Right forearm. Left forearm. Upper arm. Right and left. Tops of both of your shoulders. Right, left. Down the front of your body, a line from clavicle to belly button, traced over the sternum. Recall the memory of seeing this area and then being this area. Right rib, left rib. Your entire belly, belly button, lower belly, upper belly, right waist, left waist, whole belly, both legs, right leg, left leg, the whole of your back body. And each place you touch with the memory of its presence and presence itself softens. Under your awareness, whole body can be soft. Feel the back of your neck to the front of your throat. Feel the back of your head, letting go of any tension that exists in the cranium, neck, jaw, eyes. Feel the front of your skull, the softness of your face. And feel the crown of your head within the same energy sphere as the soles of your feet. Whole body surrounded by energy and a warm green light glowing, pulsing with each breath. I invite my cellular memory to speak. What's ready to be healed will be seen. And if you're working with a heart vow, a Sankalpa, you can place that here. If you are unsure of what a heart vow looks like, what a heart vow sounds like, you could work with the statement, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And we'll often use the Sankalpa to repeat it 3 times in order to wake the subconscious, open the subconscious, and drop it in, letting go. Your analytical mind has no place here. Surrender. Pranamaya kosha, the layer of the breath body, layer of energy. Feel your breath body and watch as your breath body changes the glow of the green aura that surrounds your physical body from your mind's eye. It's not uncommon for a busy mind to follow a thought away from this moment. If you feel pulled away from your breath, come back. And we'll move through the layers of samskara. The first groove that is worn is something that we really like to do but don't need to do or don't have to do. And for me, it would be drinking anything other than water. Sometimes it's nice, but I don't have to do it and I don't really want to do it, but it can be nice. So this is something that you like to do. Ask your subconscious to bring you an experience, a memory, or a story of something that you like to do. And now we'll move our awareness to a visualization in whatever way it comes, a very sturdy and strong tree. How big it is, how wide it is dependent on how old you are, how many years you've been on this earth. And create your tree inside your mind. You could even display through the branches and leaves if you are in a low energy state or a high energy state. And down the trunk of the tree and into the cold earth are the roots of who you are. And these are the stories that you've lived, the experiences that you've had, the memories that you've stored. There are some roots that have crested the surface of the earth and you can see them from above. But most everything is happening below the surface. And we have no way of knowing what pattern or shape or direction each root is going, or whether or not each root exists. From this very lucid state of being, go into your root system and trust that what you see is true. And all the way down the root system, you will see the roots gathered around the ball at the center of the earth. And inside this ball is the desire for what you like to do, why you like to do what you do, why it's nice to have that. Maybe there's a story attached to it. A grandmother had given you a specific perfume as a child and there's a good memory attached to it, and so I like to spray that perfume. Something like that may be there, or it may be something that we've associated as something bad that happened that we didn't want to happen, and that may be there too. And then we'll breathe slow and steady to stay soft. As we ask that ball, what do you need for me to stop holding on so tight? How do I let this go? What do I heal? What is this serving? And you can begin to see the roots slowly drop away from the ball. I've had a loosened grip, not too tight. It doesn't take long for the roots to dissolve and make space between the roots and the ball. That both can coexist together without being entrenched in one another. And then we'll move into a deeper groove, a stronger samskara. This is something that has become a habit for you. Something that you don't just like to do, but that you feel you have to do. And it could look like an OCD compulsion, turning your pillows a certain way, brushing your teeth a certain style. Something that you do to your body. a sequence of events that must take place. Ask your subconscious to bring to mind a habit that is seeking to be healed, that is ready to be released. And that is at the center of the earth, completely surrounded by the root system belonging to your tree, intertwined like an identity, not separate. And if you were to make space, starting to dissolve the tension of the roots around the center of the earth, what would need to be healed? Maybe you see all of the roots start to create an abundance of space between the center of the earth and the roots of your tree. And maybe something stays connected. All of it is worthy and valid. Maybe there's more to know here. And keep coming back to that Sankalpa of I am safe. And this is going into a very well-worn groove inside of your subconscious mind. This next groove that we go into is the deepest groove we could hold. And it is that of addiction. Don't just want to. Don't just have to. This is something that I need to do. And if there's anything that needs to come for you to be healed, that is ready to be released, it will arrive. You'll be able to see this story, this memory and experience, or something that you do. And it won't always be an external thing like a substance. This can very much be an addiction to suffering, an addiction to pain, an addiction to chaos, an addiction to rejection. Addictions come in all different ways, and our belief system is supporting it in some way. And if you could ask this to come forward, to be seen, if it's safe to hold it, to see it. And what is it that is at the center of the earth? Wrapped so tightly in roots that it doesn't even exist. You don't see it. You have done this for so long. The original source of it is buried so deep. And you pull back, breathe back the root system, root by root. Remembering I am safe. And maybe there is medicine at the center, something that you can take with you to heal. Even in being seen, much of our shadow is healed. No longer running from or denying that this existed or that it exists. In a way, all it is craving is your attention, your light, your eyes, and to see the pain, or the source, the wound, the void that exists at the depth of it. If I needed to know something to heal this, what would it be? And feel the earth working with you to soften her edges, to create space for the roots to release. Feel the support of that which is wrapping around you. I am safe. And the visualization of and the actual visceral sensation of feeling your whole body become wet and absorb the rain that is poured from the sky. Like love into your heart. You are so worthy of this space. The way you've been using it to keep yourself safe has been such a beautiful act of self-love. And now you can heal. Each drop of moisture into your body is permission for the space to give yourself to heal, for the memory of your wholeness, your beauty. Many of us have forgot how to receive. Let your body absorb all of the moisture, becoming heavy, heavy, heavy. Heaviness of the whole body. Now become aware of the lightness of your breath, the presence of spirit, as life is breathed in and out of you. Each inhale, a validation that you are worthy. If you are working with your Sankalpa, let your body be completely in love, in vibration with your Sankalpa here. I am. I am. I am. And we need to make space for ourselves. These have been identities that we have come to know, be in comfort with. And change can be uncomfortable. Know that you can always come back to this moment, this feeling of openness, of surrender, of receiving. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. Don't pull yourself out right away. Stay with your soft body and see if there's anything that is wanting to come that isn't meant for the collective whole. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat.